Am I willing to get in touch with my needs? Often we've done this for so long, we don't even know what our needs are. How's it going, folks? My name is Father Columba. How are you? I'm a Franciscan of the Renewal, to be precise, and I live in Ireland, in Limerick. So today, I want to talk to you about needs. Now, if I'm too needy, this typically is rooted in the fact that I have unmet childhood needs, didn't get the attention, love, validation, etc. that I do need, and I'm unconsciously bringing that into my adult life. The love I didn't get from my mum or my dad, I'm now looking unconsciously for a surrogate mom or dad. And when I find one, I latch onto them and they become my everything. They become my savior, my God, my parent, my mammy or my daddy. And if you're on the receiving end of that and you spot it, you can be like, and you go in reverse. And you might be wondering, why does everyone abandon me? And start reliving the same thing that mommy and daddy did to us, and which could be really painful. Now, the issue is, of course, it's a boundary issue. Other people aren't responsible to meet my childhood needs. They're not even responsible to meet any of my needs. If I'm an adult, I'm now the one, and it's my job to do what I can to allow God and through others to have those needs met in a balanced way, and to really trust that God will do this for me if I cooperate and am willing to change and heal and all that stuff. Another pattern with this is I can choose unavailable people to try and meet these needs, again, because I'm fulfilling a pattern that was growing up. So I didn't have my needs met because, let's say, my mom or my dad weren't emotionally available. So then I go looking for the patterns from childhood, because that means mom or dad, that means home to me. So I go looking for unavailable people, emotionally unavailable. So you get into a romantic situation with somebody and they really can't, they're checked out. But it's kind of like what it was as a kid. And then you go into the same pattern, and what happens? Same hurt, same disappointment, needs not met. It must be me. Wow. Negative, and no healing going on there, right? We can also trust untrustworthy people because we're so desperate. We're so hungry inside. So we just trust anybody, or we overshare. Do you ever do that? Like, first time you're meeting someone and you're telling them your deepest, darkest. And at a certain point, a look of horror comes over their face and they excuse themselves and you never see them again. We talk about what to do about this one, and then I'll talk about if you're too unneedy. So let's just live the truth in love, as St. Paul said. Live the truth in love. Let's be honest. We have needs. I have huge unmet childhood needs. Little pro tip, little secret industry. Everybody has unmet childhood needs. If you were to encounter a child who had big needs, needed to be held and loved and seen and affirmed and talked to kindly and listened to, you'd probably go, oh, wow. And you'd probably do what you could to meet those needs, because it's kind of adorable in a child, right? It's like, oh, they want a hug. Oh, they really respond when I look at them and smile and say, really well done. So if we could accept it in a child, let's see if we can accept it in our own hearts. Next up, I'd say, feel the pain of, if you can think back, like, okay, I do have these massive needs. What was the scenarios like growing up? How did mum do? How did dad do? Or whoever were the significant people in your childhood? And did they fail? This isn't a blame game, but what it is taking hold of the reality and the truth. This is actually the story of my heart and of my life. And until I take hold of the hurts, I can't actually heal from them, can I? No, because I'm still in denial, or I'm ignoring, or I'm blaming, or something else. But if I can just acknowledge without necessarily blaming the hurts that were done and feel that pain, then I'm going in the right direction towards healing. Sadness is actually a good emotion. It doesn't necessarily feel nice, but sadness is the healing emotion. If I don't feel sadness, I can't ever let anything go. So I just hold on to all the pain. Pretty much always rooted at the bottom of this stuff then is, well, if I didn't have those needs met, I got it communicated to me loud and clear that I am not good and I am not lovable. So I'm going to have some of that lie inside of me. So we can just start to catch ourselves thinking that thought, thinking that lie, and we can renounce it. Say, do you know what? I feel this is true, but I know in my head it's not true. So I can reject that lie And then I want to replace it with the truth. And I always replace it with the truth that God unconditionally loves me because he made me. He doesn't always love my behavior, but he always loves my being. So I just catch still myself when I'm in that place of shame or self-hate or accusation or whatever else. And I just come back to this truth. No, you love me infinitely, regardless of my behaviors. And there's other things there, like we can start to really, really ask God and trust him to provide. Ask every day, Lord, I have all these needs. Would you please help me to meet them? Show me how to be a better friend and not drive people away. Show me, give me the tools, give me the self-awareness. Am I able to give other people time and not just hog the microphone all the time? And I have so much need. I have to talk constantly about me and my stuff. Can I be interested in the other person? All right. Other one is too unneedy. There's a despair rooted in this thinking and feeling. At least I found it myself. So I've given up hope that anyone will actually meet my needs, that anyone will actually see me and love me for who I am. So I have decided somewhere along the line that, I have to give up on everybody, even God. Even I can believe in God, but down deep, there's this fundamental despair and this rejection and this disbelief that he will ever really care for us. This belief, no surprising lads, that I'm not lovable. Same thing. It's interesting. Same lie, same experience, but two very, very different ways of responding to it. So I believe I'm unlovable. So I don't want to open up to anyone because they're just going to confirm the fact. If I let them see me, they're just going to reject me just like mom and dad did, just like so-and-so did. Hurts way too much. I just can't take it. So shields up. I'm gonna paint a real nice ideal picture of myself here. So you're just gonna see the fake. You're gonna see the fake me, the imaginary me. And then I might even start to believe that's the real me. Where people could really like and admire what you're proposing you are, but it's not actually you. So then if anyone admires you or loves you or gives you praise for that, it doesn't actually reach the heart, and we don't actually get filled up with love or healing or anything like that, because it's not the real us. And we know deep down it's not the real us. So love can't hit home. Too many shields up. Keeps us safe, but we'll starve in our safety. Practicing willingness to be open and vulnerable, to be able to just come to that point of reality and honesty, this is actually starving me to death. I mean, in some ways it works great, but ultimately I really, really, really need connection. Real connection with real people and with the real me. I need to start letting people see the real me, and I need to start revealing the real me to people. And we don't have to do this with everyone, folks. Just 1, 2 trustworthy people. You just share little bits and build your confidence. As you share a little bit of your heart, just watch how they respond. And share another little bit and watch how they respond. Now, sometimes we do this. We want to sabotage ourselves and confirm ourselves in our policy of, hiding. So we'll share it with somebody who's not really trustworthy. And then they gossip about us or they reject us. And then we go, ha, see, you knew it. So we get confirmed in all of our blame and our judgmentalness and I'm right, you're wrong, and our policy of starving ourselves to death. And it doesn't help. So we got to try and find people who are trustworthy. And we have to let ourselves be loved. Sometimes we've got lots of loving people in our lives, but we don't actually make the decision to let them love us. And we don't make the decision to love them. Basically, with this kind of attitude, we have to acknowledge we do have needs. And it is our responsibility to meet them and also to restore our faith that actually God can help us with this. And there are trustworthy people out there who would love to connect with us and to love us and therefore meet some of those needs. And we could maybe help meet some of their needs. And the challenge is, am I willing to get in touch with my needs? Often we've done this for so long, we don't even know what our needs are. So more than anything, I recommend you bring your true heart to him. Hope that's helpful. God bless you. Bye.